The Knicks could make a big push for Kevin Durant in the offseason. It was reported during the trade deadline that the Knicks had interest in acquiring Durant, and now KD to the Knicks rumors are circulating again. If you've been paying attention to what's happening in Phoenix, it should be no shocker that Durant wants out. When the Suns created their big three of Booker, Durant, and Bradley Beal, they thought they were going to be competing for championships. But instead, they haven't even come close. Last year, they got swept in the first round by the Timberwolves, and this year has been even more embarrassing where they're not even in play-in range, currently ranking as the 11th seed in the West. So it's widely believed that Durant is going to get traded this offseason. Ironically, Kevin Durant has been tied to the Knicks before. Back in 2019, the Knicks traded Porzingis to create cap space to get both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving to come to the Knicks. We all know how that went. They ended up coming to New York, but they just went to the team in the other borough, the Brooklyn Nets. That ended up being a disaster situation in itself, and after the Knicks fumbled, they ended up firing Steve Mills and hiring Leon Rose. Now, Leon Rose has done a really good job ever since he's been the GM. The Knicks have been one of the top teams in the East over the past few years, but they continuously fail to go deep in the playoffs. This year, they've got a really good team with Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, and they've got the third best record in the East, but they still appear to be a tier below the Boston Celtics, who are the defending champions and the main team that they're going to have to get past if they want to get to the finals. So, if the Knicks lose in the second round again this season, it's possible that they make a run for Kevin Durant. Now, Durant is long in the tooth. He is 36 years old, but he's still a great player. The Suns are underachieving, but KD is still playing at a high level. He's averaging 27 points per game, and most would consider him a top 10 player in the league. The Knicks could feel that Durant is that player that pushes them over the edge. So let's look at the pros and cons of the Knicks acquiring Durant. But before I get into that, we gotta talk about BetUS. Guys, with BetUS, you can bet on games and you can also make predictions, and if correct, you could cash out. Tonight, the Knicks are back in action against the Chicago Bulls, and I think they're going to win in dominant fashion, so I'm going to bet on them beating the Bulls by 17 to 20 points. And with BetUS's Casino Playground, you can play their slots and feel that casino buzz with BetUS live dealer tables. If you sign up now, you can get a 200% sign-up bonus of up to $5,000 and a 250% crypto sign-up bonus of up to $5,000 as well. Okay, back to Durant. First, let's discuss the cons. Obviously, the biggest con of the Durant trade is his age and his injury history. He's become a lot more injury prone as he's gotten older, as most players do. And the last thing that the Knicks want is for them to trade for Durant, and he suffers some season-ending injury and misses the playoffs in its entirety. Also, a Kevin Durant trade is going to make the Knicks pretty top-heavy, and they're already a top-heavy team. Because his salary is so high, the Knicks are going to have to put 2, maybe even 3 players together to get a Durant trade done, and that's going to make their bench even thinner. And lastly, he's also a potential flight risk. There's only 1 more year left on his contract after this season, and so the last thing the Knicks want is for Durant to become a rental. So it will make sense if the Knicks trade for him to sign him to at least a 2-year extension, so that way they have a 3-year window to compete for championships while Durant is on the team. So now let's discuss the pros. One of the bigger pros of trading for Durant is that he would be a seamless fit. Durant would be a seamless fit anywhere because he's got a great off-the-ball game. He's not the type of player that needs to dominate the ball in order to thrive. He's an excellent outside shooter. He moves off the ball really well. He's a great cutter. So I think he could come in and play next to Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns and just fit with them seamlessly, fit like a glove. And he would also make their offense even deadlier. Durant is one of the most unguardable players in the history of the league. Some consider him the best scorer ever. So having Durant out there would make the Knicks even tougher to defend. And defensively, I don't think the Knicks will miss a beat. Now, should the Knicks trade for Durant, I think OG Anunoby is going to be the main centerpiece of the trade. And I don't think Durant is as good of a defender as Anunoby, but he's still pretty good. He's a very good man-to-man defender. He can move his feet, keep guys in front, contest shots really well, and he's also a really good help defender. Durant is 7 feet tall. He's got a 7'5" wingspan. He blocks a lot of shots. He alters a lot of shots near the rim. So I think the Knicks would be just fine defensively with Durant in the lineup instead of OG. But the biggest pro of trading for Durant is that he would raise their ceiling. Simply put, the Knicks just may not have enough to get past Boston and get past Cleveland and get to the finals and win the title. The Knicks are really good, and Jalen Brunson is a great playoff performer, but Karl-Anthony Towns, over his history, just hasn't been a player that has stepped up his game in the playoffs. So, as it's currently set up, the Knicks are going to meet the Celtics in the second round, assuming both teams get past their first round matchups. And if Karl-Anthony Towns plays the way he normally plays in the playoffs, that's probably not going to be enough to get by Boston. Kevin Durant, on the other hand, is a two-time champion, and he's had countless great playoff performances. So adding Durant could give the Knicks enough firepower to get past Boston and Cleveland and beat whoever they meet in the finals. Now, trading for Durant obviously comes with a lot of risk, but you can't win a championship without taking risk. So Durant could be the piece that the Knicks need to push them over the edge. So what would a Durant trade look like? I've gone on Trade Machine and I've done OG Anunoby along with Josh Hart. The Knicks probably also throw in some first round picks, and that would work. Though personally, I would prefer to hold on to Josh Hart because he's an amazing role player, and ideally I would do OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, and first round picks for Durant, although I'm not sure that would be enough because there would definitely be league-wide interest if Durant becomes available. But either way, the Knicks are going to lose some depth if they trade for Durant. But that's the type of sacrifice that you have to make when you're trying to make that winning move to win a title. Winning championships are not about having a great 1 to 10 man rotation. Teams that win championships usually have a great starting five, 2 or 3 players that they play off the bench come playoff time, and that's usually what you need. So if the Knicks have to sacrifice some depth in order to get a player like Durant, that's a sacrifice that they may be willing to make. But it all depends on how the Knicks do in the playoffs. If the Knicks go on to win the championship, they're probably going to forget about trading for Durant altogether. But if they come up short again, I'm sure Leon Rose in the Knicks front office is going to have interest. But that's going to be it for me, and now I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of these KD to Knicks trade rumors? Do you think that the Knicks should trade for Durant in the offseason? Let me see your thoughts down below in the comment section. Guys, I'm going to continue to talk about the Knicks all season long, so if that sounds like something that will interest you, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and have an amazing rest of your day.